Hey, what's up? Sean here, and well, you guys asked for it, so today we're making the web shooter from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. If you're new to this channel, then make sure you subscribe and check out all the other web shooters that I've made on this channel, as I'm sure many of you will enjoy those. Before I show you guys how I made this web shooter, I want to give a special shout out to all of you who submitted your pictures and videos of the web shooters that you made at home. So thank you to all of you guys who submitted those pictures and videos, it really means a lot. I left links in the description to all the materials I used, and I also included free downloadable templates which you can also find in the description as well, and I numbered all of the template pieces in the order that they appear in this video, so they should be very easy to follow. The first thing I did was make the base of the web shooter out of some 1/8 inch corrugated cardboard, and using a sharp hobby knife I carved out a small portion of the base like this, and doing that is going to make more room for the web cartridge to slot into later on, which will actually make the whole web shooter more compact. In addition to using corrugated cardboard, I also went ahead and used some cereal box cardboard here to elaborate on that base structure that we're trying to make. Now this web shooter actually has a bit of a curved look to it, so what I'm going to do to emulate that look is just simply bend some cereal box cardboard into the shape that I want, and then glue it onto the web shooter like this. The next thing I'm going to do is make what I call the stop block, and what the stop block is it's basically this tiny block made out of popsicle sticks that's going to block the bullet from shooting out of the web shooter until that block is manually lowered. Once that stop block is made, I can attach that onto the web shooter using duct tape and super glue. Next, I'm going to make the barrel of the web shooter by simply rolling up a slip of paper into a tube. I measured the outer diameter of this tube to be about 5/16 of an inch before gluing the end of the paper shut. Now, the barrel has a bit of a raised edge, as you can see right there, so all we have to do to get that shape is just wrap a couple strips of paper around the tip of the barrel like this. Next, I added a tiny ring that I made out of some cereal box cardboard to the back of the barrel, and then drenched that ring in super glue to really strengthen and harden it. Before I glued the barrel to the web shooter, I painted everything red because it's just always easier to paint things in small increments rather than trying to paint everything after it's glued together. Alright, well now it's time to make the bullet for the web shooter using a wooden toothpick. Now here's the part that's going to make the web shooter shoot, so basically what I'm going to do here is take two pen springs and join them together like this, and then I can glue those springs onto the bullet, and you'll see in just a moment how this will all play out and how exactly the web shooter is going to be able to shoot. Now this next step is optional, but if you want you can add a thin strip of paper around the tip of the bullet, and doing that will make it harder for you to shoot the web shooter by accident, but again that is pretty much optional. So here is how the web shooter is going to be able to shoot. So you load the bullet into the web shooter by pushing it down the barrel, and then lock it in using the stop lock. Once the stop lock is lowered, the springs will expand quickly and the bullet will burst out. The front of the web shooter has these black edges, so I'm going to create that look by simply using some cereal box cardboard and painting it black, of course. The next thing we need to make is this centerpiece right here that's sort of raised up right there. So to do that, I'm going to start with this piece of cereal box cardboard and then glue pieces around it at a 45-degree angle to get that sort of beveled edge look. Then I can use some craft foam to add additional details that go along with this piece. Once that piece gets painted red, I can glue that to the center of the web shooter like this. At this point, I thought it would be a good idea to hide the corrugation of the cardboard by using some cereal box cardboard. There's a strip of craft foam that belongs right there, and of course I did this for both sides. On those pieces that we just glued on, there are these tiny black circular dome pieces, so for that I thought it would be cool to use these mini googly eyes. Now obviously these are optional, but I just liked them because they were super duper cheap and they are perfectly round and dome shaped, which is convenient for me. Next, we gotta make this circular power button piece here, so for that I'm gonna use craft foam again. And to get those circular indents, what I did was used the cap of a Sharpie and just sort of pressed it in there until it formed a circular groove. And for that inner circle, I repeated that exact same process using the tip of a pen. Once I was happy with how it looked, I put some super glue in those grooves to make sure the craft foam is permanently shaped like that and doesn't expand over time. Once that got painted red, I glued that onto the web shooter right there. And I did the exact same thing on the other side, except no power button. To replicate these tiny silver detail pieces here, I used some cereal box cardboard and filled it in using a silver metallic marker. In addition, I used a black fine point marker to make these thin lines that you see right there. And those pieces get glued on like this. There is another piece on the back of the web shooter right there, so I made that out of some cereal box cardboard and glued it on like this. Next thing we need to do is make the web cartridge, which is basically a tiny little box that's going to store all of your string before it all shoots out. To make the web shooter actually wearable, I made a wrist strap using some black duct tape. Then I can attach that wrist strap to the web shooter by using this additional piece which I made out of some cereal box cardboard. And I added Velcro closures to the strap that I customized for my wrist size. Next, I used some fishing line and I'm gonna tie this line to the stop block using that tiny little hole that I made in advance earlier. Then I can go ahead and tie a double knot in the fishing line and cut off the excess. Now the whole idea with this fishing line is I can tug on that line to lower the stop block. So all I have to do here is just put that loop on my pointer finger and flex my wrist whenever I want to lower that stop block. So now we can do a quick test run to see if this actually works. So I can put the bullet into the barrel like this, lock it in, and then when I'm ready, I flex my wrist and it should shoot out. But of course, we don't want this web shooter just to shoot that tiny little bullet, we want it to shoot string. So now I'll go ahead and tie some dental floss to the back of the bullet, and now when you shoot the bullet, all of that string will trail behind the bullet and make it look like we're shooting web string. All that's left to do now is make a simple reloading stick using some popsicle sticks and a toothpick, and this will just make the reloading process faster, as you'll see in just a moment. So this is how you load the web shooter. First, you insert the bullet into the barrel and lock it in. Then you want to use the toothpick on the reloading stick to fish all that string out through the back. And once you've done that, you can wrap that string around the reloading stick like this. Then simply push all of that string down into the web cartridge and insert that web cartridge into the web shooter. So guys, help me out here. What do you want to see me make next? In addition to commenting what you want my next video to be, I would also really appreciate if you could upvote other comments so that I can get a better idea of what you guys want to see. Well hey, if you liked this video, then make sure you click or tap the screen to check out my Amazing Spider-Man 1 web shooter. Thank you very much to my patrons Anthony Riolo, Carlton R. Powers, and Max Trax. And if you would like to become a patron as well, there's a link in the description to my Patreon page. But hey, you can always support this channel for free by subscribing to see my future videos.